Nearly 6 months after the July flood, we went back to visit one of the families we first met in August to give you an update on their rebuilding process.
And what started as a tent with food for flood victims has turned into a community gathering place. We caught up with the Perry County native behind it.
And things are looking better for the folks who don't like snow when warmer air moves back into the mountains. Coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening again. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Olivia Calfee. It was definitely a cold and snowy day for us, but it didn't cause too many problems, and it looks like it's heading out.
Certainly some good news as we get closer to Friday. So what's ahead for our Friday and beyond into the weekend? Let's check in with meteorologist Evan Hatter for the latest on this first alert weather day. Evan.
Well, in a word, guys, sunshine is back as we head into the day. Tomorrow, our flurry threat continues to push out of the region tonight, and while it will be cold and a little breezy at times, we're looking at much quieter conditions as we head past dark. Here's a look from Buffalo Mountain in southern Perry County. 34 overcast degrees right now, but notice nothing is falling from that overcast, at least at the moment. Out front of WYMT, a little bit down the mountain, a little bit farther north in Perry County. Overcast, yes, but we are not dealing with any snow falling at the moment. Temperatures and feels like temperatures into the low to middle 30s right now. With those feels like temperatures in the upper 20s, thanks to those breezes working through, we're still gusting at times 10 to 15 miles per hour around the region. We'll drop those gusts into the overnight, but it still will be breezy a little bit. Eastern parts of Pike County into parts of southwest Virginia. That's where most of the flurry activity is right now, heading towards Phelps, heading toward Elkhorn City, on top of Feds Creek right now. And we'll continue to see those push out over the next little bit. You see all of those snow showers, for the most part, pushing out, but a few flurries can't be ruled out through the evening. Guys, I'll go into the full in-depth of when we see some sunshine return in a few minutes.
Thank you, Evan. This weekend marks a somber anniversary for Eastern Kentucky.
Saturday makes 6 months since deadly and historic flooding hit our region. Since July 28th, we have covered countless stories of those who lost their homes, belongings, and even the stories of some of the 44 friends and neighbors who died as a result of the high water.
As we approach the 6-month mark, we are turning the tide. These next couple of stories will focus on folks who are rebuilding and moving into new homes, as well as how community members have relied on one another to move forward.
First, WYMT's Dakota Makris reintroduces us to a Knott County couple who had nearly 4 inches of water inside their home and how they are doing almost 6 months later.
This is what Ken and Gloria Sloan saw outside of their Knott County home during the early morning hours of July 28th. Water rushing, inching closer to their home.
By that time, we just didn't know what to do, you know.
You kind of wonder, when is the water going to stop rising? You know, is it just going to keep going?
I visited their home in late August as crews helped them repair the inside of their house, essentially gutting part of the structure, leaving the family to live in a small room.
They're about to get the living room done. They're doing some drywall. They got the floors down, and they're working on the kitchen.
Changed from what it was.
Nearly 6 months later, the family and their dog Gibbs showed me around their home. It has new floors, a kitchen, and bedrooms.
We lived in here for the first 5 weeks, and then we kind of transitioned back and forth. To say it was completely done, about 2 weeks ago, because we got our furnace put in.
The Sloans tell me it was organizations like the Christian Appalachian Project, their family, and strangers who helped them rebuild.
If we hadn't got the help we got from everybody, I don't think we'd still been, we'd still been working one room at a time, and financially that would have been difficult.
Back in August, Gloria and Ken said God blessed them with the help. They still feel that way months later.
There's a lot of people we know still struggling, and we pray for them all the time, because that's what it's going to take. And there's a lot of people, there's good people out there that do help, and just don't give up.
Yeah. In Knott County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
The Sloans say they still have some work to do on the outside of their house, but the things that are left are projects to be done this summer.
The Sloans are not the only folks back in their home after the flood. During his Team Kentucky update today, Governor Andy Beshear said 235 families are still in travel trailers. That number is down 8 from just last week. 145 families have transitioned out of the Commonwealth sheltering program. Also during his update today, Governor Beshear referred to a promise he made shortly after the flood.
In July, he said he would be there every day, every week, and every month that it takes to rebuild. Today, he acknowledged that others have made and kept similar commitments, one of those being a Perry County native.
Today, I had the opportunity to catch up with her to talk about the last 6 months and how she is playing a role in the community's recovery. When she felt called to feed people in Knott County, she never dreamed it would turn into this.
I thought it'd be chaos. Hang in there for, 3 weeks to get the people on their feet.
Kate Clemens says her 3-week journey of feeding people under a tent quickly turned into something much bigger than food.
I never dreamed that 6 months out we would still be hundreds of people's only hot meal of the day still.
Her love for helping people turned that tent and table into a place of fellowship, food, and sometimes just a hug if they needed it.
The story of the tent, I always say, is to bring hope. It's not just a hot meal, it's to let people know they're not alone and that we're going to be with them through the whole rebuild process. It's just crazy that in 2023, 6 months out, so many people still can't prepare a hot meal. So the need for food is still great. I'm still serving hundreds of meals a day.
Reminding the people of Knott County that even when all hope seems lost, God calls on his children to be his hands and feet.
It's like David and Goliath in the Bible. The flood was Goliath trying to kill us all, and she took her little slingshot and defended this whole community and took down that giant.
From Kate's food tent to the recent establishment of her nonprofit, Roscoe's Daughter, now working on developing a food pantry. She says she trusts in God's plan and would do it all again.
Everyone in line, you can hear them driving by, like, we're all one big family. That's why I show up each day. That's why I keep coming here to do what I do, is because I love them. Clemens has been feeding hundreds of people a day since August 27th, finding vendors and ways to fund meals each day. To learn more about her operation, visit our website, WYMT.com.
And we will continue to have stories about flood survivors and the rebuilding efforts throughout the coming months. But as we lead up to the 6-month anniversary this weekend, there was one quote from the governor's update today that sums up Eastern Kentucky's resiliency.
But Eastern Kentucky, let me say, we love you. We're going to be there for you. This is going to be the toughest rebuild, I think, in the history of the United States. But we are going to get it done. That's what we do as Kentuckians.
Indeed. As we head out there for a look at the forecast, I'll have the latest breakdown on when some sunshine returns in a moment. Plus.
And hear from a first responder who says he was on the scene when a man's body was recovered from the Louisa Fork River yesterday. More on what happened coming up.